Right. Screen share. So, who did what today? Any success stories? Any failures? Any questions? Let me know how you got on. Me personally, 1% up on the day, trying to recover a bit of ground from last week. Um, so, what we were looking at was prospects of lower yields. If you recall from the video I put out yesterday in Asia and also in our meeting this morning. So we got some weakness coming through, but not really enough to really kick things off um, in terms of the momentum in the trades that we were looking at, and it took a long time to pick up any pace or to come to fruition, really. So we got a bit unstuck on the cable. Um, and I also took a Dow US 30 trade that that went up, but caved in on me. Um, so yeah, a bit frustrating really. So we went in long and it pulled back and then exceeded the target. But so be it. It's all about managing risk, um, and you can't win them all. So let's have a look. We have long euro dollar, great. Caught a short sterling yen, excellent. Made 0.5 on euro yen, very nice. Shorted euro sterling, but nothing big. Okay, guys. Well, it all adds up. Right. So, as I said, Monday we're not expecting fireworks. So to come out with a small gain on a Monday is absolutely great. Um, and Monday is setting us up for Tuesday. All right. So we need to look at today how it's closing in relation to last Thursday, Friday, the longer term time frames such as the daily chart, and start planning ahead for the week and the forthcoming session. So let's get into um, the dollar. So as I said, we had a bit of weakness in the yields. Um, Maybe we'll get some follow through on that later today, and that should keep the bearish dollar thesis alive and kicking. All right, so that's the dollar chart there that I've moved in on. So those are the squiggles from earlier on. We'll just clean it all up. So it looks like we're ending lower for the day. And in doing so, that will be giving us. All right, so we had a bearish close on Friday. So that was a first red day close in the US dollar. We had a series of higher closes. So closing low on Friday was the continuation trade today on Monday. So it took a while to get going, but it came to fruition in the end. Now, where do we stand for the day ahead? Let's have a look at that. So we've come into a minus 38.2 Fibonacci correction, and we align with the prior resistance level, or area I should call it, over here, that could act as support. So we might get a move up from here and a continuation to the upside. However, I'm still favoring a bearish bias. Just eyeing the chart, it just got my eye in on this, and it feels what it looks like it's wanted to come lower. But I mean, you never can tell. You can't determine just by looking at the chart. But the price action itself, I mean, you can have a best guess that that's quite a firm move lower. And we've essentially taken out this low here on the lower time frames. So it's um, it's not to say that that is the most significant level, 104.71, but 72. If we move down to say a 15-minute chart, and I want to look at this rally here. So what we're looking at now is the structure of the move up. So where are we likely to see demand? So we had this move down into here, that leg up. So in here, um, I would argue is where most demand is lying. So we could well still come into this area here, which puts a test of this candle's wick in focus for the day ahead. I'll make that nice and thick. Can we see that? So that is a touch below where we're at, 104.66. So we're looking for a break there to fuel continued bearish prospects. But unless we get a break below there, then we are still biased long. However, on the weekly chart, as we spoke about earlier, there's an awful lot of longs built up in here. We're at resistance, and I'd hazard a guess at a bearish continuation for the week ahead, targeting last week's lows and those highs over here. So prospects of a deeper move to the downside. Now it is Fed week, so keeping alert. And there's a number of other banks. Well, we've got the RBA minutes tonight. We've got the Bank of Japan, Bank of England all later this week as well. We had a dovish dovish ECB, European Central Bank outcome last week. So the dollar may gain some traction, but I do believe we've got some downside to come yet. But we don't know. So what we need to do is just keep an eye on this, keep an eye on yields, and see if we're getting momentum here in this 10-year to the downside. It's all very choppy, but looking for a move lower. Okay. So any pairs in particular you guys want me to look at? We've got Josh that's still long of euro. Where'd you get in, Josh? Okay, that's great. Good work. Nice and low. Very good. And what are your plans if we start topping out here? We've got potential support in here. Have you taken money off? Have you moved your stop loss? Where's your stop loss? Reveal all. Okay. Okay, great. All right. Good luck with that. Fantastic stuff. Well done. Right. Let's look at the Australian dollar. Yeah, we can have a look at the DAX in a minute. So we've got the RBA minutes, and these will be of the September meetings. Of the September meeting. Where are we? On the daily chart. Um, right, so we are got a fresh low down here. So we're still essentially on the front side of this bearish trend on the daily chart. Right, you see that? So unless we get above this area up here, the bias is to the downside. It's not to say that we can't come up and test higher, especially in a weak US dollar environment that's good for commodities and commodity FX such as the Aussie. In terms of the minutes today, um, the statement that followed the RBA September meeting suggested an increasing degree of confidence in the economy and that they are on track to achieve a soft landing. So there's a lack of urgency about a need to act on a tightening basis. So that could be reflected in the minutes today. Um, but look out also for repeated concerns over sticky services inflation. Right. So might turn out to be a benign event. Looking at the price action, again, we've got this resistance up high. There's nothing really here screaming out at me. We've got this micro bullish trend that's still intact. Well, not really. Well, okay, so we're chipping away at this old support. Right, so in that respect, we could be in anticipation of a downside continuation in that we've got this head and shoulders. This is the right hand shoulder for a downside continuation. Left hand shoulder, head, right hand shoulder. So essentially, there's lack of demand following through. We've made these highs, we've sold off aggressively, breaking structure. We've come up to rebalance the sell-off, and we're meeting resistance again. So there are prospects of a downside continuation, technically, while being on the front side of the bearish trend. All right, and in that case, we'll be taking on the bullish support, and that opens up significant risk of a move down into 63.80 that guards the lows of September. Okay. On the other hand, if the US dollar continues to weaken, if something uh, relatively hawkish comes out of the minutes as a surprise, then you could see that dollar take off, print a W formation. So instead of that scenario, we could have this scenario. So W formation to take on the trendline resistance, the horizontal resistance for the days ahead or sessions ahead. All right. So that's my outlook on the Aussie. Um, right. The want to look at the what do you call it? The DAX. Look at the index. So what are we looking here? Wants to ask about the DAX. Is it fair to say it's about to finish its pullback? Possibly. We've got an M formation on the 4-hour chart, which is a bullish corrective template. We're in support over here. So there could be a bit more downside to come yet. I mean, we haven't really dug our heels into support, have we? So there's still prospects of a move lower. Um, we've got an M formation, so we might have the correction up, but maybe we're coming lower first to go up. Right, so W formation on the daily chart. Right, it's come down quite aggressively. Yeah, I'd say we've got prospects of a continuation to the downside, but we'll have to see how these candles start showing up. You know, if we want to see deceleration before we start banking on a move up. All right, any questions on that? Otherwise, moving to dollar CAD. So dollar CAD we had as a buy low opportunity prospect for the day, and we didn't get anything until um, late on in the day. All right, so I wasn't getting involved with that being so late in the day. So in fact, what we've got here is a impulse to the downside, correction, and prospects of a downside continuation. The M formation is the validity of it is being eroded by this move. We would have wanted to see today's close higher up. So we had a first green buy low opportunity or setup prospect rather, but we've continued lower. So it's hard to buy this market until we are through resistance. Currently, it looks more as if we're coming down low, coming up, and a continuation to the downside. But that doesn't fit the uh, weak US dollar narrative. So I'm cautious with this one. Euro. Let's have a look at the euro again. Yeah, there could. I think there could be some more upside in this. You've got an impulse correction continuation. Just checking around here. Hmm. Right. On the other hand, so what I use here with these hourly breakouts, well, not. I mean, I don't use, but what I'm using at the moment, we've got this bullish impulse. So one strategy that could be applied is the pull back into the 38.2, meeting prior support, resistance, sorry. Right, so that's the price action covered. Okay, that's on the hourly chart, and then on the 15-minute chart, what I like to see is a crossover between the 10 and the 20 EMAs So the 10 hugging the price, the 20 slightly away from the price. We've got crossover with the um, black line, which is the 10 EMA, crossing below the 20 and then coming up and crossing again. That indicates that we've had a strong move to the downside, picked up liquidity, and now we've got enough fuel to continue higher. But we haven't had that crossover. So I would be reluctant to bank on an immediate move to the upside. What we might get instead is a bit more sort of back and forth happening. But that is pure guesswork, just based on an eye really for what we might see, using moving averages as well as a guide. Um, but I mean, technically, it does look poised for a continuation to the upside. Just whether or not we're going to get a fuller correction before that is my only question. Okay, if we look at the 3-day cycle template, let's remove all the drawings. We had an inside day, so we've hit the stops on the upside. We're yet to hit anything down below, but perhaps we're not coming back. For the meanwhile, you've got that W formation on the hourly. Again, support is being met. So perhaps now that we've broken out, we can continue higher. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come back in on the inside, take out stops below here before moving up with our bullish thesis and weakness in the US dollar. Okay, we've gone over CAD, haven't we? Right. Okay. So I think is there any okay, gold. We can look at gold. Gold, gold, gold. Gold eventually took off. We were talking about the rally, buying low. So that took off nicely in line with our thesis. Let's clean up the chart now. So we've made a fresh cycle high 3 days, well, not really, more 2 days, maybe a third day before the sell off. I mean, we had demand in here. You got one, was it a higher close? So we closed higher, yeah, W formation. So, I mean, the downside could well be complete and perhaps heading higher. We've broken last week's highs, and the majority of breakouts fail. So just be note that we might pull back to the inside um, prior to any continuation to the upside. Okay. So at the moment, support is in here at yesterday's closing price, Friday's closing price. So while above there, and the point of control is over here as well, these orange lines, so red, orange. So pull back, perhaps into support for a continuation to the upside. Right. So any other questions, guys? Otherwise, I think we'll call it a day and we'll just monitor how Asia and Europe sets us up for the US session on Tuesday. All right, guys. So, going to wish you all a good afternoon, evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.